Alright, today we're going to be doing a water pump on a 2.2 ecotec. This one happened to come out of the 2008 Cobalt. If your motor's already or still in the car and you're not lucky like me and have it on a motor stand, you're going to have to for sure take your exhaust manifold off, which is pretty easy. They're just half-inch bolts all the way across. On a 2008, you for sure have to take the thermostat housing off, because the water pump's going to have to come off. The water pump's going to have to come off this way. Thermostat housing, which looks like it's going to be all 10mm bolts. So if you're doing it in the car, you're going to just have to take your hoses off and disconnect your temp sensor when you get this far. You can probably leave your heater core lines on there unless they're in your way. So here's the close-up of where you're going to look for the bolts at. There's one down here on the bottom, and then tube up here by your temp sensor. So 3 bolts on the back side. And of course, you're going to have to take all these off. Once you have the 3 bolts off, mine wasn't on there very hard, but it just pulls right off like this. And then on the water pump side, you should be able to pop it right out. Just like that. It's just a little rubber seal on there that if you're doing a water pump, you're just going to replace that anyways. That pretty much opens it up. Alright, when it comes to the front of your water pump, you only have to take these 3 bolts off on the front side, 10mm bolts. The problem is it's hooked to your timing chain, and if you're just trying to do a water pump and nothing else, you're going to have to take that doorway off in your front cover and make your own tool to go in these 3 holes. Them holes are threaded, but you can actually buy a tool from like the dealer or whatever, but it's pretty expensive for a one-time use tool, maybe 2 times if you're going to do this a lot. Definitely doable. Make some washers or something. Once you get your 3 bolts off, in my case, since the timing chain's not on, this pops right off. But if you're doing it with the motor in the car still and the timing chain on, you're going to leave this gear sitting right here. You can leave the gear just like that and the tool in it. And you're going to go around to the back and start on the bolts on the back. There's some 10mm and it looks like two 1/2-inch bolts. So I'll go ahead and take those off. Alright, here it is with all the bolts off. Comes right off. Here's the old one. Now if you're like me and get all the bolts off and it still won't come off, there's a hidden bolt up here in the top corner that you actually take off on the front of the motor, right up here next to your motor mount bracket right here. There's 1/2 inch that goes all the way through. So pretty easy once you get this far. Now you just clean up your surfaces and put your new gaskets on, and it goes back together the same way. Here we are with the water pump on. The whole side of the motor got cleaned and painted. Got the thermostat housing all cleaned up and painted. Turned out great. Water pump's on there. Brand new. Looks great. Got the front on there, that gear. Pretty easy process. Imagine it'd be pretty easy even if you're still doing it while it's in the car, especially if you got some kind of good tool going for that gear in the front. If you're interested in the timing chain, that video is going to be next, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll show you guys how to do the timing on your 2.2.